All right, Gibson USA. The wine red variety. So there's hardly any string wrap. There's like barely a half a wrap, one wrap around these strings. Should have 2 or 3 good wraps. The reason you need them tight is because you don't want any play up and down in the tuner. The tuner will wiggle around in the hole. If we give them a bunch of grease, I kind of want the grease splooging out the back because it'll create some internal resistance. There we go. You can already feel the difference. So for those of you wondering why Vaseline, I don't know, ask StuMac. I see it in every one of their videos. And I think to myself, well, if those guys use it, they probably know what they're doing. So I'm gonna go ahead and trust that and then try it. And guess what, by golly, household Vaseline is a great little lubricant. There we go. Just splooge right at the top there. So here's what I've observed with the mini Gibsons that I've owned. So let's address first of all me doing it this way. The neck's not going to move enough for that to be an issue. There's not enough physical force on the neck to move it that much. Not for what I'm trying to achieve. And it's really easy to work out how to straighten out these necks. See right now, it's balancing on around 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th fret, which is just about where you check the relief on the 8th fret. So it's balancing in the 8th fret, which means it needs to be loosened up. Just slightly more. I felt the guitar wheeze in pain, like, oh, thank God, let some of the tension off me. Okay. That's now perfectly straight. Okay, are we there? All right, so these frets look pretty untouched as well. And now I've done this a bajillion, billion times. And here's the thing, I hate taping up fretboards. So I've learned to become careful. That's all I'm going to say about it. So keyboard commandos, go ahead and get started now, leaving your comment about how you'd never leave your guitar with me because I'm so unsafe. But here's the reality. When you learn to do stuff, lots of tradespeople figure out how to do stuff without obstructions in their way, right? Which is why you see things like guards come off of saws and this sort of stuff. And you see them do things in ways that would otherwise look a little bit dangerous to you. The problem with YouTube is that everybody's an expert. Everybody knows the proper way to do something. Everybody's like, oh my God, why aren't you doing it this way, that way, or the other? And I'll tell you, I'm going to do it this way, and I'm not going to leave a mark on the fingerboard because you don't want to know what? I'm careful. I've worked out how to do this. I've done this so many times I could do it in my sleep. And I'm careful. So I'm just going to take the scale, because that's all that's on these fret tops, is just a little bit of corrosion. Alright, so yes, we're heading into the next bit of controversy, which is to clean your fingerboard with some steel wool. It's wonderful because, especially on a rosewood or ebony fingerboard or something like that, it cleans everything. So I'm just going to come in here. And we take a magnet wrapped in a piece of tape. And we run that all down the fingerboard. And it pulls every last bit of that stuff out of there. Alright, and there you go. Beautifully clean frets. Nothing at all in the grain there. See all that nice, beautiful open wood grain. Okay, there's nothing stuck in there, I assure you. No damage to the fingerboard, no gash marks, no grooves, no nothing like you see on so many guitars, particularly right around these corners of the fret. You see lots of gash marks on guitars. I see tons of that. And don't get me wrong, I'll protect things that I think I can't be careful enough to work around. It's just that I've done so many of these now that I can do quite a lot of this without all those protective guards, which are a bit of a pain. And that's what I'm trying to point out, that not every single situation calls for all the safety. You know, people do become skilled enough to do these things without need of aid, you know, for things like that. So now we're going to go ahead and use some of this stuff. Is awesome, by the way. Their polish and stuff that they sell like this is great. It really is quite good. I use it all the time. So anyway, I'm gonna put a lick of that on the fingerboard. Then we're going to stick the strings on, double check the setup, which, like I had already previously mentioned at the beginning of the video, I had checked and seemed like it was well within factory spec to me. So I'll come back at you once we've got the fingerboard oiled up, and we'll do a little bit of body polish on this in the front and back. Looking for 12. Body joint, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th fret. She could loosen up a smidge more. To worry about doing anything with the strings because it's loosening it. Sliding in there like butter. So the thing about stretching your strings is you got to stretch them a bunch of times when you put them on. So it'll take 3 or 4 times until they stop coming out of tune. But also, before you play your guitar, especially for a gig, stretch your strings. Okay. Exactly 5/64, exactly 3/64, exactly 2, exactly 2, exactly 2, exactly 1, 1, 1/64. So this this has been set up by somebody. That's perfect. That's perfect. That's perfect. That's perfect. That's perfect. Yeah, so the intonation's perfect. Somebody has set this guitar up. And she plays it in drop D. So I'm going to hope that just tightening things up and giving it a little truss rod adjustment will help. The only other place I would suggest she go from here is locking Grover's. But yeah, that's the best we can do. Give her a cleanup. And yeah, setup's totally fine. Nothing wrong with the way this guitar is set up at all. It's all exactly factory spec.